astronomer Henry Throop, who joins me from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the program. Now, as I said there, anyone interested in this great conjunction has about 2 weeks' time to witness it during the nighttime. Are a pair of binoculars enough for us to see the two planets?
You can see the planets with binoculars, but you can also see them just with your unaided eye. If you go outside about a half hour after sunset, you can look up toward the west where the sun has been. You will see Jupiter brightly, and then right next to it, you'll see Saturn right in the sky. You don't need binoculars. If you do have binoculars or a small telescope, then you'll be able to see Jupiter's moons as well, but you can see them just with your unaided eye.
Now, conjunctions aren't actually a rare occurrence, but there was something particularly interesting about this one. Tell us why.
So what's happening here is you can imagine the planets in the solar system as being runners on a track. And toward the center of the stadium, you have the sun, and then you have the Earth very near the center as well. And then as you go further out, you have the other planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and then you have Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter, these are the two largest planets in the solar system. And as you get further out, the planets move slower and slower, and that's because they have further to go, and they're being tugged less strongly by the sun's gravity. And so Jupiter is actually the faster inner planet, and it's overtaking Saturn in its orbit. It does this every 20 years, reliably. So every 20 years, we have a conjunction like this. Now, what's different about this conjunction is that how these appear in the sky is much, much closer in the sky than they normally. During the conjunction, normally they're separated by about a degree apart in the sky. Now, they're not close to each other in space. It's just from our vantage point on the Earth as we're seeing these runners on a track, as we're seeing Jupiter approach and overtake Saturn. From our vantage point on Earth, they appear next to each other, even though they're vast distances apart in space.
So what does the two planets coming so close together mean for our solar system?
So this is a very reliable conjunction. It means our solar system is working properly. Essentially, we wouldn't expect anything otherwise. Just like we expect the sun to come up every day, and it does, we expect Jupiter and Saturn to have a conjunction every 20 years. What's really unique about this one is how close they're going to be in the sky. A normal conjunction is about a degree apart in the sky. And in this conjunction, so happens that the alignment of the orbits is such that they're about a tenth of a degree apart. So with your pinky finger outstretched, you'll be able to cover both Jupiter and Saturn with just your finger outstretched at arm's length.
So we can expect to see the next conjunction 20 years later, correct?
Every 20 years, we have a conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn in the sky. That's when Jupiter's approaching and overtaking Saturn. Now, sometimes this is going to be during the daytime instead of the nighttime, so you can't see it reliably every 20 years. But in fact, the one in 2040 should be visible. It's not going to be as close a conjunction. They're going to be about a degree and a half apart from each other in the sky, rather than this really special tenth of a degree apart that they are this time.
All right, NASA astronomer Henry Throop, thank you so much for joining us on the program. It was a pleasure having you on our show.